Hey guys, how are you doing? So today we are going to do the video on the Phantom and the Cruzr side by side. We're going to go to the table first and kind of go over some of the specifics of them, and then we'll put them on the tree together and check them out. All right, let's go over to the table. All right guys, so here are the two next to each other, or on top of each other. So you got the Cruzr up here and you got the Phantom down here. So what we're going to do is kind of go over this little chart real quick that I made. Price wise, Phantom came in at $249.99, the Cruzr at $245, so a difference of $5. When I got this, it was $235. I think the saddle went up by $5, and the Amsteel bridge that I have on here went up by $5. So sizes, the Phantom only comes in one size. It covers 28 to 40 inches. The Cruzr XC comes in with a size 1 at 28 to 32. A size 2 is 32 to 38, and a size 3 is 36 to 42. So you've got one for the Phantom and 3 sizes for the Cruzr, so you can get 2 extra sizes going up to the 42. The weight limit on both of these guys is 300 pounds apiece. All right. And now let's look at them. So the weight of the saddles, the Phantom is only 1 pound, 6.6 ounces. And the Cruzr is 1 pound, 13.8 ounces for a difference of 7.2 ounces. So lighter with the Phantom. And you can just see from the looking at them on the table how much bigger the Cruzr is, but how much bigger it is, and basically only weighing 7.2 ounces more. All right, so let's look at this first thing right here. So the waist belt is 1 inch wide on the Phantom and 1.5 inches wide on the Cruzr. So let's look at that. So we're gonna flip them over. So the waist belt, my wife's over my shoulder standing on a table or on a bench. What was that? Wobbly? Okay. So here is where we're looking. So here is the belt, the waist belt on the Phantom. And here is the waist belt on the Cruzr. You can see the difference in size. And you can look at the difference in the buckles. Here's the buckle on the Cruzr, and here is the buckle on the Phantom. And then you can look at the hookups. Phantom over here and Cruzr right here. All right, so the next part of this little comparison is the bridge web. They're both 1 3/4 inches wide, so there's no difference at all there. And then the overall width of the saddle, the Phantom comes in at 37, and I basically just laid them out. So these are approximates. 37 inches from bridge to bridge loops, and 36 on the Cruzr from bridge to bridge. And I'll show you that. I'll put them on top of each other here. And then I'm going to also put them on top right now and show you from top to bottom. The Cruzr, or the Phantom, comes in at 11.5 inches from top to bottom. And the Cruzr XC comes in at 14.5, and that's with none of the pleats open. So let's check that out. I'll show you here real quick. So here we have the Cruzr, and I'm going to put the Phantom right on top of it. Let's turn it over so you can see a little bit more defined. And we're going to put the Phantom right on top of it. We're going to line up the tops. And you're going to see the difference here. So these are both lined up on the tops, and you can see the difference down here in the bottom, where you have that basically 3-inch additional material and size on the Cruzr. You can see if you look at side by sides, going with the bridge loops all the way across, they're basically, like I said, the Phantom is about 1 inch wider with those. But as far as, weight-wise, you're only gaining, 7.2 with the Cruzr on that. But the big difference is top to bottom. Now, I'm going to put the Phantom up here. If you open up just one of the pleats on the Cruzr, this 14.5 inches now goes to basically 17 inches. So with one opening, whoops, make sure we only have one open. It's a little hard. There we go. So you can see the difference now with one open. Now if you open them both up, you can see the difference. You've got basically 8 inches more of material. And you'll see how that looks on me on the tree over there, but 8 inches more as far as material. And we'll close up these pleats. They close up really nice and easy. The last part of this thing is the leg straps. When I was playing around with these on the tree and walking around, the one thing I noticed is the Phantom's leg straps go on forever. These leg straps are 29 inches long, where the Cruzr XC are 19.5 inches long. These may be 29, would be my guess, because you're covering with the sizes 28 to 40. I'm not sure what the different lengths are, if the length changes on the size 3 or on the size 1, because I have a size 2 in the Cruzr XC. But you can see the difference in these leg straps. I'm going to put the Cruzr up here and the Phantom right here. And you can see the difference. Even without the pleat, the Cruzr goes much further than the Phantom. All right, guys, so that is really the comparison of these two together. So with that length, leg strap lengths, 9.5 inches longer on the Phantom. All right, so we're going to now go over to the tree and try both of these on. And I kind of show you again. You've seen my initial impressions of both of these videos, but we'll kind of go over in detail a little bit more. One last thing, let's go back to here real quick. I'll show you this on the tree. But your molly loops. On the molly loops, the Cruzr has a set of molly loops across the top that are loose. You can see how they're loose there. Easier for a carabiner to go through. Then it has a line of tight molly loops, and that's where I'll be hooking up my saddle. I don't have any saddle or bags on here, I should say. Not my saddle. This is my saddle. I'll hook up my bag on this tighter section, and then you could still put something over the top if you wanted to, as far as with the loop. The Phantom has a set of tight mollies across the top, and it also has a set of tight mollies across the bottom. Let me know in the comment section what you would hook up to the bottom mollies. I don't know of anything I would hook up to the bottom mollies, and we'll kind of show that on the tree also. All right, so you can look at the last thing on here, and we'll see it on the tree. Your Lineman's loops attachments. This one is much bigger than the Cruzr. The Cruzr is in the back. They're both stiff. This one's a little looser as far as where it's joined. This one has a red or orange interior, so you'll be able to see your carabiner over that to know that you have a positive hookup. This is green all the way around on the Phantom. All right, so guys, we're going to go over to the tree now and try both of these guys on, and we'll kind of go over the intricacies of each one of them. All right, let's go over to the tree. All right, guys, so we're going to put on the Phantom first, and then we're going to put on the Cruzr. You can see them both there. We're going to try them both on, and then we're going to kind of give my own opinion, all right? So the Phantom first, we're going to put this baby on. So when you're putting this one on, stepping through the bridge, because your bridge is attached on both sides. I'm going to pull my shirt up a little bit, the outer one. just so you can see where I've got it sitting. So on this one, I'm going to have it sitting just below the waist belt. And if you see the blue tape mark, I had my wife put that on me. That's where the bottom of the Cruzr sits when it's in the same position. All right, so I got it right below my belt line, right about there. And we're going to turn around now. So what I did with these is, a lot of people were asking me to get the comparison out. I wanted to take my time because I wanted to sit for many hours in each one of these in the backyard. So I sat for many hours, like I said, in both of them. I walked around the backyard, chased the dog around in the backyard with them both on. So we've got the waist belt on now, all right? So reaching down between your legs. The one thing on the Phantom is this is always going to be your left because you're going to want to hook from the top. So on this one, you're going to come and hook downwards. This one's always going to be your right. You're going to hook downwards, and that's how your leg loops hook on. You do have an elastic strap to take up all that extra material if you want. So you can fold that up, put it through the elastic strap to keep that extra material from flopping around while you're walking through the woods. And you know, as well as I know, when you're walking through the woods, everything gets hooked on branches and everything. So with walking, as they've showed you with this bridge, you're going to pull that tight all the way across. With my old one, I had to, with my Flex, I have to take that web and tuck it into my pants or into the belt. But with this one, you can pull it. Now, if you don't loosen the prusik knot, you won't be able to get this all the way together. Now, with that all the way together, you can still see it's kind of loose. And that may be because of the one size, possibly. So if you had a bigger waist, my dimensions, just so you guys know, are basically 5 foot 10 and a half, 5 foot 11 tall, 182 to 185 pounds. But this is basically as tight as this will go. So you can see it's a little loose. You can roll this portion up and stick it in a pocket if you want. And I'll stick it right here right now. But walking around, not bad at all. They were both very comparable as far as walking in them. This one, only difference was this one was, the Phantom was looser here, and I'll show you that when I throw on the Cruzr over there. All right, so let's crawl up into the tree with this guy. Bum, 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 bum. So we're on our Ridge Runner, and we're going to open up the bridge. And if I tighten up the bridge right here, put a little pressure on it, and when I pull this, I can really kind of feel right where it loosens, and that's where it's basically been where I tested them both out together for the many hours. So you can, the rope is kind of grabbed a little memory there. All right, so we're still on the back of my butt, right below the belt line, and sitting back. And I've got this, as we've discussed before in the initial video, this has the comfort channels right here. You have 3 settings. I prefer the middle channel. I'm going to pull this down so the mic's not so close to me. I prefer the middle channel just because that gives you the equal pressure on top and bottom. If you go to the lower one, you're going to feel it more in your legs. If you go to the back or the top one, you're going to feel it more across your back. But with both of these, and I'll show you on the Cruzr XC how that one works. So, sitting back in this, very comfortable. You do feel pressure, myself, with my body size, I do feel pressure, I wouldn't say real hard pressure, but you can feel the whole mesh material on your butt. You can definitely feel both of the straps, but it's not uncomfortable or anything like that. And then sitting wise, you know, coming down to the tree and sitting, very comfortable. I sit probably about 50% of the time. put my head up against a tree because I have normally my pack right here to lean up against. So I'm actually a little bit further away from the tree, probably right about here, which makes it a little easier because I can get my arm on top of my pack and just sit here kind of like this. But sitting in this position right here, you can still feel it across your legs a little bit on the bottom portion, but not uncomfortable. Now, sitting for long periods of time, I sat in here for a half hour to 45 minutes just playing around, and you can feel it a little bit more. But right now I have on my camo jeans. This would be like early season. When you're into the later season, you're gonna have more layers on, so probably wouldn't feel it as much. But as far as spinning, no issues. Of course, now when you're spinning this way, if you're hanging like this, you can see there's a lot less material right here on your hip, but still very comfortable. I can still feel it pulling up on my legs right here. You can see how high it sits on my legs right here. But overall, a very nice saddle, very well built. Comfort-wise though, in all the hours that I've sat in them both, I think the Cruzr is much more comfortable. I will put the Cruzr on now and kind of go over that with you. I'm also going to show you as far as hooking up with your Lineman's loops, the difference on these things here. So let's crawl down out of the tree real quick. And I'm switching over to the Oplex 8mm rope. I've got some Kongs on order, but after kind of watching a couple of videos, especially one guy, I'll have to look up his name, and I'll put it in the comment section or the description section so you can kind of look at that. I think, and I may be wrong, but I'll do a video on it, I think people are using the Kongs the wrong way. So this one I'm going to put through here. And a girth hitch itself to itself right here. And then as far as getting to the loops, you're going to see right here, very easy to get to because it sticks out. Very easy to get to. And like I said, when I do the video, I will kind of go over this one I'm using right here is a CT climbing. This one, I'm going to show you, the rope slides through this thing so easy. It's crazy. You can see how easily this pulls through. As soon as you put tension on it, it locks up. So easy. With the carabiner and the thicker rope, the 13mm, 14mm ropes with the Ropeman 1 that I have, you have to sometimes really pull that to get it through, but this thing just grabs like crazy. And that'll be in another video. But I will show you something else on this little CT rock. I think it's a rock and roll or rock and lock. The other nice thing is when you pull this back and it locks in place right there, this becomes a pulley for you. So you can use this as a pulley to pull something up anywhere. So I may carry an extra one of those in my bag. But when I was referring to the Kong, according to the instructions, and once I get my Kongs in, for the Kong to get the actual kilonewton rating, the rope has to actually go through the carabiner. This one does not have to go through the carabiner, so we'll go over that in another video. So let's go throw on the Cruzr, and I'll show you that. And we'll hook up the, on the Cruzr, the first thing we'll do is we'll show hooking up this basically to it. But once again, hooking into the Lineman's loops, very easy. All right, so let's go put on the Cruzr real quick. Okay guys, so we're going to put on the Cruzr now. Same thing, just grab your bridge, step through, grab your belts. And the one thing I'm going to show you on the Cruzr, and I talked about this in the first impressions video, you know, in the dark sometimes, this one will latch this way, or if you head it the opposite direction, it's still going to latch. The Phantom latch will not do that. It only goes in one way, but this will go in both ways. So I'm going to pull up my outer shirt. Make sure we put that about the same spot. So I think we've got it right about the same spot right there. I'm going to tighten it up. So you can see this comes down to right about, so I'm going to pull these a little tighter. Comes down to that tape mark that we have there. I think it might be off a little bit because I'm up a little bit. Yep, so there we go. So we got it about the same spot. So you can see that's where that came. So we're going to take this off now. All right, so this one here, so we've got it hooked up. Now we're going to hook up the legs. So on this one, you've got little clips also, Raptor type clips. Same thing, they will go either way. And they don't have to be specific for left or right. They'll work in both of them. So no worrying about which one you've grabbed first. One thing I did notice on this is because this loop is basically, this leg attachment is about the same size as this right here, your lineman's loop. Sometimes it falls in there. So make sure you have it outside of that. You don't hook it on like this, or you'll try to hook on, you'll say, oh, you got to unhook it. So we're going to hook that up. And there we go. So now on this one, walking in, pulling the rope, and you can see this one's tight now. And I still got probably about another inch I could go. Now, like I said, I don't know what the size 1 or the size 2 like is on the bridge. You'll have, of course, more material, but of course then the body is bigger too, so you're probably going to get the same hookup. But this is tight as opposed to the Phantom that you saw was a little loose. You couldn't pull it any closer together. These are still pretty far apart here. So walking in this thing, because it is so big and there's so much more material, it's kind of, I've got to imagine, kind of like walking in a skirt. Same thing, I walked around for hours in these things, walking around the backyard over days, sitting in them. And I don't wear skirts, just so you don't get that out of your minds. My wife's little eyebrows are going up. I do not wear skirts, but really comfortable. I mean, you can see it's a lot of material back here. Pleat is closed right now, but very comfortable. So let's crawl up here. Well, let's put on the, let's grab the rope and we'll do the lineman's loops first. So your lineman loops here, we're just going to do the same thing. I really like this rope, I'm telling you. It's really, I mean, just skinny compared to my other one. I mean, you can look right here. This is the one I have basically from Tethrd. You can look at the rope size difference. Bought 2 of these right here to probably use as my tether. I'm not sure though, because kind of like with Amsteel, you can look at that little Amsteel stuff and you know the weight rating's there, but it's like my mind just doesn't get over that. Little skinny rope can hold my body weight up there. All right, so same thing. This one here, lineman loops right there. Very easy to get to. And on this one, you can see you've got orange. So you're gonna miss, you don't see the orange right there because you know your carabiner's hooked up. Even though this is really light colored, I can see that difference on my Phantom, but still very good. Like I said, the Phantom sticks out further and it's bigger. I don't know if big is necessarily any better with this portion because they're both stiff. If they're very loose and hanging down, that's a problem, but this stays open because it is kind of a thick material right there with the layers hooked up, but hooks up very easily. So no problems there. All right, so let's crawl up in the tree with this thing. We're going to take this off right now. I keep switching this back and forth between the two because I don't have 2 of these right now. I'm still waiting for my other CT Rollnlock to come in. All right, so let's crawl up in the tree. And we're going to take out the bridge, and I can tell you the same thing. Right there is, when I pull it, you can feel where the difference changes on me. Right there's the lock. Right there is where I had it set up. These are both exactly about the same size as far as bridge. I'm gonna pull that up a little. There it is. All right, so sitting in here, you can see on the back of this here, I'm still sitting at about the same thing, right below my waist belt. My pants keep pulling down a little bit. Sitting back. The Phantom has the comfort channels. On the Cruzr, you can see this is a Cruzr knot on both sides. So I just want to keep pulling this down so I don't get the mic right up by me. This has a Cruzr knot on both sides, so you can adjust up and down this entire area, wherever you want to feel. Same thing for me though, I'm not going to be adjusting it. I think on the Phantom, mine's right in the middle. On this one, it's right in the middle also. So I like the middle feeling because you get the top and bottom both feeling the same. Now on this one, like I said, I don't feel as much biting into the legs back here. I don't know if that's because it's wider as we discussed. I forget the guy's name, I'm sorry, that makes the Cruzr, but when he saw my original impression of the video, he said with the pleats, he said just pull up on the back. So I'll have my wife, I'll show you, I'll kind of come over this way a little bit. So with the saddle still on, you can just, you got looseness right here because it's right, it's pulling on both of them about the same. You can just pull that up. And now that kind of gives you a little bit of back support right there. So I'm not sure, even though my back band goes up here, this kind of gives you that support in the upper back. And it hasn't changed the overall feeling of the saddle. It actually possibly makes it a little bit more comfortable because it comes up higher. But very comfortable. Same thing, if I take that pleat out right now, and I sit back in here again, and I sit sideways like we did on the Phantom, I don't know if it's a difference in the mesh, but this one feels like a sling. I don't feel any overall pressure on everything. It is very comfortable. I think in my initial video, I put down that this thing feels like a hammock, and I don't even have it open right now. So if you look, if I'm sitting here with my knees, you can see where this comes on my legs right here. All right, so let's stand up. And if I'm gonna sit down, if I pull this down, if I open up both of these things and I pull that one down, now look where it's sitting on my legs. I mean, it is just like a huge, like sling chair. And when you come over here with this like this, it's almost like a recliner because you're kind of falling back. There's so much material. It's very, very comfortable. This could be bad. Somebody fall asleep in the tree. Of course, you know when that happens, all of a sudden the deer is underneath you. But I'm going to tell you, this thing, and this is a size 2. I'll put the sizes at the bottom of the screen again for you. I don't know if a size 1 would have fit me, but I kind of went with my waist size. But this thing is just very, very comfortable. This thing is well built, and just the extra mesh material, and you don't really have a lot of weight gain. It's amazing. I mean, you got to sit in one of these things to feel how much it is different. I mean, I love my Flex. Next change I'm gonna, or next comparison I'm gonna do this against my Flex. I haven't done, I wanted to do just these two. I didn't want to get the Flex involved yet. I just wanted to do these two against themselves and see how they felt. But I'm gonna tell you, this thing is sweet. And this again is my opinion. This is based on my body size. Your body size may be different. You know, some people hold more junk in the trunk than others. Some may be skinnier than me, but I will tell you, this is extremely comfortable. Well, guys, that is just my opinion on these two. You guys were asking my opinion. So, out of the two, for myself, the Cruzr XC is going to be probably my saddle to start the year off. Even though I haven't gone against the flex with it, I will tell you this thing is extremely comfortable. I like the idea of this AmSteel bridge and being able to tighten just like the Phantom when you're walking in, which is awesome because you like to keep everything streamlined, as you guys know, because we said everything gets hooked on branches when you're crawling through stuff, but this baby is really nice. So thanks Blake Manship, I believe it was, who asked me, did you try the Cruzr XC? I had not. I hadn't even heard of it, but I'm glad he got me onto this because I will tell you this is a very comfortable saddle. All right, guys, I will see you later, and I will try and get the flex in this thing compared against each other. It's going to take probably a week and a half, 2 weeks, so I can sit in them both again, doing them on and off, on and off. But have an awesome day. And if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for subscribing because we are almost to 4,000 subscribers. All right, guys, see you later. Bye-bye.